Hello, I'm Mike Box Elder, and this is my podcast, Box Angeles. However you came upon this show, I really appreciate you finding it and listening. If you're new to the show, please check out my YouTube channel where I put full video episodes up, as well as clips from every episode. And I'm on a quest for 100,000 subscribers there, so please go over there and subscribe, boxangeles.com/YouTube. We've got a really fun episode this week. My guest is the great Stephanie Allynne. You might know Stephanie from her improv group, Wild Horses. They perform all around town, UCB, Largo, Dynasty Typewriter. You can also see her on TV on shows like Twin Peaks, One Mississippi, and the L Word Generation Q. Stephanie also did my podcast a long time ago. She did episode 33. And I loved her then, and I loved her even more now. We had a really good conversation about where she's at in her career, what she did over COVID. She's writing and directing a movie coming out this summer, which we talked about. This was a really fun conversation. I find Stephanie to be one of the kindest, sweetest, and funniest people. So this was a really pleasure for me, a really pleasure. I said that right. That's good English. That's proper English. Anyways, you're going to really dig this show as I digged it as well. So without further ado, I give you...
Hi, I'm Stephanie Allynne. I'm 5'7", and I'm based in Los Angeles.
Hi, Stephanie.
I still do. I feel like every time I slate, even now, I'm like, that's so dumb.
I just had a casting associate on yesterday, Gianna Butler. You might know her. She works with Kazera Shavenko. They do like Blackish and Cronus.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, I love slates because people put their personality into it, and sometimes it can make or break it.
That's what I don't like. I don't like having that much control.
Oh, I thought because you didn't have a personality.
Hello. I don't like being like in a scene and then being friendly.
Really?
Feels like you're doing it all in a row. I find it jarring.
Why don't you do it first then before you get into it?
Well, even when it's edited together, I'm like, it like throws me. If I watch audition tapes, I'm like, oh God, and there's their personality. Even if it's lovely, I'd like.
You're talking about like from the casting side.
Yeah. When I see the actual tape, I'm always like, or when it starts out friendly and then they get into it, I'm like, ugh.
This is interesting. You know, on the casting side, you don't have to ask for slates, and a lot of them don't ask for slates for that reason.
You know what? And I just did a tape. This was like a while ago, and the casting director, who's actually a friend of mine, was like, "Oh my God, don't ever slate when you do a tape for me." And I'm like, I'm getting instructions from my agent that says at the end to do exactly what I just did, say where I'm located and whatever. And she was like, "No, don't do that. Why is that on there?" And I'm like, who's giving out the information to say to slate?
It's different every casting, right? And agents and managers are very particular. It's weird. That's kind of why I like interviewing these casting people, because everyone's unique and you can kind of figure out what they're looking for. Like she even said, send 2 takes of everything. Even if it's like 4 or 5 pages. I was like, what? I would never think to do that.
And then what? She edits them and picks what she likes, or just to see 2 versions?
Just to see 2 versions. Yeah. She's like, you might suck on the first, and I like 2. And if you only send 1, I can't do anything with that.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting, because I always think they know in like 10 seconds.
That's what I think too. She swore she watches the entire thing. She said you could win it at the back half of an audition, not even in the front. So I was like, wow, Gianna, really putting in the work.
That's nice.
Hey, before we get going, we already kind of did, but I want to say, you did my podcast. Do you know it was 9 years ago?
I did not know that.
You and Will did it. Will Hines did it about the same time. But I just want to say you were so kind to me then, and it always stuck with me, and that meant a lot to me because you didn't know me. It was very early on in my podcast, and that meant a lot to me.
Wow, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I'm a very nice person.
Well, okay, Jesus. That's the last compliment you get today. The second thing I want to ask you about, this is a hot question for you. Ready?
Okay.
I know you've really gotten into the Buffalo Bills as of late.
That's right.
Are you on the Hailee Steinfeld, Josh Allen power couple train, or do you think it's going to be a distraction, or do you not even know that they're... I
didn't even know about that.
Oh, no. If it's the off-season, you don't pay attention?
No.
Wow. They were seen at dinner a couple weeks ago in New York City.
Wow.
Doesn't seem right, but it seems like a power couple.
I mean, why? She seems kind of cool.
She seems great, but it doesn't seem like she's like, I don't know, into athletes.
Right. That's wild.
Her brain is processing this right now.
But like, she'll have to be in Buffalo for...
I know, right? Like, who wants that? She didn't put any foresight into that.
You to pick what team they're on.
Yeah, strategery. That's why it's always Lakers players.
Yeah.
That's partly why all the free agents go to Lakers, probably, because they can date better people.
There's like actual a VIP scene.
Wait, now that I broke this news to you, do you think it's going to be a power couple or a distraction? What do you see this going?
I don't feel like I feel like if it's good, women are always helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what Buffalo's needed this whole time to win a Super Bowl. It's her. Everyone's like, you can
Spider-Man?
Yeah.
That's great. I'm shocked you didn't know this.
No, I don't think I know much about people, like athletes' personal life. It somehow doesn't reach me.
Yeah. You're not on the Buffalo Bills subreddit breaking it down?
No. That's right. But I am really into the Bills.
I know.
I've never missed a game.
That's because you lived in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm from here, but I moved there when I was in kindergarten and lived there through 6th grade.
Yeah.
And you can't live there and not be into the Bills.
And now they got good again, so it makes it easier.
Well, yeah, because like they were really bad before, and I would every year I'd bet $100 that they'd win the Super Bowl.
Did you really?
And it was always like if they win, you get like 30 grand.
Oh yeah,
like that's how bad they were.
You do that every year? You bet $100?
Yeah, I bet
really?
100.
Do you sports bet a lot?
That's the only one I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But then sometimes I'm like, would I like to bet on this? But I don't think so.
Let me talk to you about COVID, the pandemic. It seems like you're really making up for it now, performing a lot, Dynasty Typewriter, Largo. What was your COVID vibe? How was your pandemic for you? Did you get satiated creatively at all? Did you retreat and stick with the family? I know you got a big family now.
Yeah. I mean, it was really nice to be in with my family.
Yeah.
And then also I wrote quite a few screenplays.
Oh.
So I did feel productive.
Okay.
And I'm just about to shoot my feature.
Oh, good for you.
4 weeks.
Wow. The one you wrote during COVID?
Worked on. This one I had before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
But
cool.
It's my first feature that I wrote that I'm going to do.
And you did all the casting and everything? You got the locations and everything? You're ready to go. That's exciting.
About to start pre-production.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I snuck you in before that. That's great.
Yeah, totally.
So how much were you writing during
a
pandemic?
lot.
Were you just like at night every day?
Yeah. In the morning I would write. Tig and I we got on, once we were like, oh, we're in for the long haul, she would be with the kids in the morning and then I would work and then we would switch.
I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And we also shot a movie during the pandemic. That hasn't come out yet called Am I Okay? And it was before vaccines. We were like one of the only productions up and running.
Wow.
Yeah.
You shot it in LA, obviously?
In LA.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you had no problems satiating your creativity.
Yeah.
there.
Well, I found like all of a sudden was like on Zooms all day.
Yeah.
I
don't like that.
Yeah. I hate that. I still hate it.
Yeah, it's not great.
No. But people, I mean, you get so much done.
But do you get the same kicks from sitting down writing as you do from a live audience? I feel like you're the type of person, and I could be wrong, I might just be projecting on you, that needs that sort of
Live.
immediate feedback.
I really like writing.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't write as comedic. My scripts are more dramatic, and then improv feels like such a hobby.
Yeah.
Even acting, I don't feel like I'm in like as like big comedies.
Right.
But
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, probably my personality.
Or lack of?
My lack of my slates. It's all because of my slates.
But wait. You got into Groundlings and UCB really early, right?
Yeah.
I thought because you thought you were funny, right?
I guess that's why anyone.
I don't remember. This was 9 years ago we talked, but right?
I guess I thought I was funny and I signed up. I really love characters and I love big comedy and I do think that's funny.
Yeah.
Like even now I'm like the Melissa McCarthy's and Martin Short and like I'm just like, oh, that's so funny. And then now for me to do it, it's like it's not really in me.
Yeah.
That
So it's
level.
more like an age thing. You're growing into more of a
maybe, or
and maybe
it
your
just wasn't.
family is.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think that was why UCB was a better fit for me too. Is I liked switching from Groundlings to UCB where they said just be yourself on stage
Right.
and respond normally and you're just a real person.
Right.
was kind of, I think that spoke to the writer in me a little bit.
Yeah. Were you writing back then constantly as much as it sounds like you are now?
Yeah. Yeah, but not working, but writing and doing, I had to do all those sketches at Sunday Company and stuff.
Right.
And I felt like all my sketches were like little plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know what's funny? Do you know what I always took your persona as from stage, like UCB and stuff? It was like the cool chick.
Really?
I remember moving here and seeing Wild Horses a bunch, and you would always wear like big boots on stage, I feel like. So that was the vibe you always gave me.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't, and I'm not going for that. I don't know why that.
You were like the Scary Spice of the Wild Horses or something.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking?
I try not to be like that too, and then I fall. It's like I fall into it.
Well, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day when we exchanged an email. Was your fucking sketch you did? I don't even remember the name of it, but you were the basketball host, and you were like, and now let's see some sick dunks. That was the funniest shit ever. I remember back in the day. You should bring that character back. Sidebar.
Rebecca Treehouse.
Yeah.
I did with Andy DeYoung.
That was like the funniest shit, and that was the same cool. Like you just,
yes,
I remember you had like a casual, cool vibe in that, and you're just like, I don't fucking care about shit. And here's some dunks.
Yeah. It was like she's on the local church station and sort of reluctantly hosting a talk show, but what she really wants to do is talk about dunks.
Well, I don't even remember you giving that much background to it.
Yeah,
it was just like a fake. Wasn't there like it was like
no one really knew what was happening.
Yeah, I know, but well, look it up if you haven't seen it. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh
but it's so funny when you say that you think you're writing now darker stuff or not darker, but more dramatic stuff. And I think of all this stuff that I just referenced.
Yeah, I guess that it's kind of always been there. Well, when I did the Groundlings, I remember them telling me like, you can't just sit and talk. Like you can't have two characters. They have to move. They have to get up.
That makes sense for the Groundlings.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I guess all of my scenes are like two chairs and two people talking.
When you write, so you mentioned you like the big characters. When you write, are you focused more on the story or characters?
I don't have big characters in anything.
Okay.
In writing and directing and what I like just in terms of art, I like grounded, subtle, real stories, real people. And then if I'm going to watch people on stage, I very much enjoy the crazy people.
Yeah. So what's the movie you're shooting in 4 weeks about? Can you say?
It's called Trees and PhDs, and it's about a 24-year-old girl who returns home after she's dropped out of college, and she rekindles a relationship with her female professor.
Oh.
And she thinks that professor is her muse and needs her to do art, and then realizes in the relationship that it's predatory.
Oh, I saw that coming. That got dark.
Yeah.
So that is a very much...
Yeah.
Do you lace it with humor?
Yeah, I think the dialogue
like a Succession style humor, where it's a very dark and...
Maybe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll find out.
We'll see. Let me know.
So you wrote this one by yourself.
Succession. That's like perfect example. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, it is very funny. But it comes from a place, as you said, this grounded, real sort of... They're not trying to be funny. They're just speaking in the... Which is UCB improv, right?
Right. That's what I like. But then on stage, I enjoy really crazy people.
Yeah. It makes sense. You're there. You want to see... you don't want to see two people just talking.
Yeah. Like, you can go film that. That's why I think I had to get my work off that stage.
Do you have any thoughts on the UCB Theatre being sold?
I feel like I still perform there. I do a monthly show there, and it's amazing, and I still love it. And I think I was very lucky to start there when it was really new here, and had that real anybody can get up and do whatever, and it was a free-for-all, and I really benefited from that. And now I don't think it is as much that. But I still, it feels now similar to any other comedy venue where they do great shows and you can see great people, but you're not going to get the off the wall that you or terrible like you used to get.
Yeah. So do you have an opinion about the UC before leaving, or are you good? Do you know what I mean? Or do you not want to talk about it?
No, I'm like, my opinion of them leaving.
Like, did you feel like you lost it? You're still performing there, but did you feel like you lost a connection to it, or does it feel the same to you?
It doesn't feel the same to me at all.
Okay.
And I think that group, especially Matt Besser and Matt Walsh and Ian, who were there when I started, like, and that whole group of performers were so familiar to me. And I think it's all fine. I don't really know the ins and outs of it. But it does feel more like, I don't want to say it's corporate because I don't think it's that. It's more just everybody. When I was there, people that were performing had day jobs. They were trying to make it in different ways. And then this was like for fun.
Yeah.
And I think that group ended up being really successful.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting on shows and agents, and then people started to go, oh, UCB is where you can be seen.
Yeah.
And that once it became that, and that was way before COVID or anything.
Oh, yeah.
I think just the sort of like machine element as opposed to just this like black box. I found that shift really jarring.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably when I interviewed you last, right? Like when I started getting into it, it was already 1,000 people auditioning for Herald teams. You're like, how?
Right.
Yeah.
And just how do you even pull from that? And what is everybody's goal? Why are they like the difference between people sitting backstage and smoking weed and then going on stage versus like, hey, let's warm up.
Yeah.
There's agents here is just such a different vibe just for the whole show and the whole theater.
Yeah. So let me get this straight. Your idea of a warm up is smoking weed. Is that correct? Did we get that right? All right.
Hey, I wasn't doing it. I was by myself warming up.
She's slapping it.
I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, while everyone else was smoking weed.
You were stretching and everything for your big scene to sit there and talk to somebody.
Yeah, to come out and be really low energy.
I feel like too though, like this was a trend even before COVID as well. Though was like people moving theaters a little bit. You guys started doing shows at Largo. Dynasty Typewriter started popping up.
Yeah.
Can I ask, was that partly for the pay that you guys wanted, that you started going to Largo? Because you guys had a regular... We
kept our regular show at UCB.
Yeah.
And then when we got asked to do Largo, I think everybody kind of says yes to doing it. And then because you're getting paid, and you're getting paid really well, there's just that pressure to sell out and to do to put on a show where people are paying $30.
Yeah.
Not that we made that much of a difference, but I felt that's where I feel about UCB now, because now everybody's paid. It does feel like more of you get a paying crowd who bought their tickets on Eventbrite, and prior you would get the 19-year-old who was sneaking beer in, who had seen 4 shows and was now watching the 11 o'clock and then was going to watch the midnight and giving you 5 ones. And I don't feel like that person's there anymore.
Yeah. So you think there's more pressure then when you are doing a bigger venue?
I don't think there's pressure to sell out so that you can keep performing there. I think if you don't do
And you mean sell out the venue?
Yeah.
Well, the first time you said it, I thought you literally meant sell out
Wild
for the money.
Sold out.
But there's no pressure for you guys. Let's be honest. You sell it out every time without doing much of anything.
We had that at
and I'm
UCB,
talking about the show, not the...
For sure. We were always sellouts. UCB, we could always, that's what I mean. We had no problem. But I did feel like when we first started at Largo, we had to have a guest with a name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that really mattered. Whereas I don't think... No, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I guess we announced our guest, but it didn't matter who was our guest at UCB. It would sell.
Right, that's fair. But also, Largo's twice as big, right?
Maybe.
Isn't it like 200 or 300?
Maybe it's like 200.
And do you guys get half? I've heard Largo's really good.
Get half.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And those are $30 tickets.
So you're in like a completely different thing.
You're in the middle of like 2 shows at Dynasty Typewriter, right?
Yeah.
Are they live streaming those? And how do you feel about that? Because I know a lot of people are purists about improv being in the moment and stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
Or you
like
don't
it.
care?
I don't
You don't like it?
I mean, I would never stop other people from doing it, but I don't like it. And I don't, even with Wild Horses, there was a year where we were offered to record our shows as a podcast. So we were like, oh, we don't
I remember that.
These are just going to be released. And we all noticed that we would curb ourselves a little bit.
Oh.
Or we'd start talking about something and it was like, oh, let's not really go as far as we would with just the audience.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like even with live streaming, you're kind of like, I'm not conscious about that as much, but because it's improv, but I think it just loses so much.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious, maybe, but to talk to people that are in other areas of the country that like get that access, I think it would be kind of amazing. I would have liked that.
Yeah, I mean, Will talked about how he lived off of teaching improv during COVID, and largely his student base was overseas, like people that didn't have access to somebody like him previously.
See, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's so funny you say curb yourself, because I went to a show at Dynasty, I don't know, a month ago. It was that one improv show that guy runs that somehow knows everybody, but I don't know how. Dan Black, is that his name? He knows everybody and gets big people. I don't know how. But he had Kelly Osbourne. She said a lot of really sketchy stuff, and I was like, this is live stream. I even took a step back. She talked about like drugging like a Saudi prince or something, and I was like, holy shit, dude.
Oh my god.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
You should watch the live stream. But do you get a cut of that, of the live stream?
Yeah. So it all factors in.
Have you ever thought improv on TV was good, besides the fact of checking your material? Because I thought like Ben Schwartz and Middleditch did a really good job with it on their Netflix show.
I don't know. I feel like I wish it was. I think it's good when it's like, no, I wouldn't even say, I would say even when like people go off on scripted stuff, I feel like that always gets cut. It's always like, what was that? No, I think like you have to really see it they're really making this up. I think when you film it, you just feel like something's cut together.
Yeah.
And maybe live streaming has that same live feeling.
It sounds like you view it as like a magic special. You're like, oh, David Blaine's not really fucking levitating right now. Yeah. Stephanie Allynne didn't really just think of that. She's not that bright.
I got to see it in a theater.
I see what you're saying, though. When I first moved here, I interned at every theater here, right? IO, UCB, West Side Comedy, and I saw so much good stand-up comedy. I cannot watch stand-up on TV because it just does not have this. I don't feel like I'm there. I don't feel like I'm a part of this.
Yeah.
So I totally understand what you're saying.
It's like watching a filmed play.
Yeah.
It's just a little disorienting.
Yeah. I'd much rather see two people just sitting there talking. I'm being genuine. I kind of think I think you're onto something. But I do find it interesting, the access it gives, and I mean the revenue is probably pretty good for those, because Dynasty Typewriter puts them up for $20 of PPV or whatever,
and you can buy it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I don't know. I'd be curious what people think of it.
Yeah.
But we've had shows like filmed that were put on YouTube, and people are like, that were, teenagers would see them and get really into improv.
Yeah.
And didn't seem to care.
Seeing an all-girl group too do it is very cool. You mentioned that you were pitched to do Largo. Like they came to you guys to do it?
Yeah.
That surprises me. No offense, that surprises me. Like I assumed everyone was like, here's our pitch, will you take us? Do they do that a lot? Do you know?
I don't think so. I think Flanagan, who owns it, sort of just follows who's there and who he's seeing and just sort of asks people. But I could be wrong about that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that would take less pressure off you if he came to you.
Yeah, I don't think we would have gone. We were, I don't know. We were always kind of fine at UCB. And then we toured. Like everything we did, I feel like was kind of came to us. Yeah. We tried to do a TV show once. And that went south.
That depresses me. That really breaks my heart. Why did that go south?
I think it was the like, what is improv on TV? We basically wanted to do our exact format as a show.
Which you even just said doesn't work. Way to put in the
We
effort
all
on
were
that
like,
one.
I mean, if you want to buy it, we think it's terrible. But
I would see you guys in a Key and Peele style sketch show, though.
yeah.
Like you did all those. Now that I'm thinking about it, you did all those Funny or Die sketches that were, and they were longer form sketches.
those
they were like
all
12
improvised.
minutes. Yeah. Oh, funny. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody really thought they were.
No reason for me to think that.
But then also, why would we ever write that? But like that's what improv it's the imperfection or the insanity or where you follow, that's the fun of it. And then if you were to go back and write it, you're like, okay, what are we talking about?
You know what would be really fun though about that is I'm picturing the cop one for some reason. You guys did one in like a cop car. It would be a really fun show if you guys showed up, didn't know it was almost like the Will Arnett thing he did on Netflix, where you show up and you're like, what are we doing? And then they put you in a cop car and then you got to figure it out. Because I assume you knew you were going to be going into a cop car.
We knew we were cops. And then the other one, we knew we were on a heist. And then there was another one. Oh, we were lawyers. And that's all we knew. Yeah,
it'd be pretty funny if right before you walk through the stage door, you find out.
You have no idea what you're doing. Yeah, that would be great.
I'll take a co-producer credit, please. What do you call yourself? What do you refer to yourself as at this point? Do you consider yourself this is dirty, but a multi-hyphenate, a writer, improviser, actor?
Yeah, I guess so.
Comedian, or
I feel like I'm like, it all doesn't go together. I feel like I'm like a writer director, and that's in one world, and then I act, and that's separate, and then I do improv, and then I produce. It all feels like completely unrelated.
How can you elaborate on that?
The acting world, I'm always sort of, I've never like gone, okay, I'm just going to be an actor and really like lean into that. I've never taken an acting class. I've not like, even though I kind of dream of doing that, of like really focusing on acting, it's always been something where I'm very casually, I feel in something, or I feel like being on the L Word. I was like, what a crazy thing to be on, kind of out of nowhere. And then and like my improv skills are not used there. I'm really in that sort of hour drama. And then improv feels like this really fun thing I go and do in the same way I play basketball. It doesn't, and then writing and directing feels like what I do, like how my brain actually works.
Yeah.
And that feels like the most in alignment with myself.
Yeah.
And then everything else, I'm like, what am I doing?
You know, Will Hines said almost the same thing about acting. He's like, I always am like, I'm going to really focus on acting, and then I just don't.
Well, when you get when you're constant, I don't know if he feels this way, but for so long, I was constantly cast as like just myself. And so you show up and you're insane if you try to make it more, or if you're in any way like holding anything up or like methody in any way. So when your line is just like, hey, how are you? It's like you kind of just have to say it. And then you feel like, well, I'm just standing here as myself. Just talk. I've memorized these lines and I'm saying them when I'm supposed to say them. But it doesn't feel like acting. And then very rarely, I think the L Word, I felt more like, okay, I have a role. I have like a long-term character story to follow. But most of the time, yeah, I've been on a show that was in its final season where I came in as a guest star, and everybody was so over it that they said, when I showed up on set, they said, just wear what you're wearing. Don't even go change.
Oh my gosh.
And that was on an NBC show.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, where would I on? Like, they're like, can we just go? And they went and just shot it in my regular clothes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's how much I was just playing myself.
Wow. So really writing, directing is your passion.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff is just fluff, fun, extra.
Yeah.
Do you sort of budget out your time? Like, do you try to put X amount of hours in a week to writing and directing, X amount into improv, X into auditioning?
No.
Okay.
No. No. No, I very naturally work. I don't have to. I like really want to be in shows, so I usually say yes, and then when I have something I want to write, I'm pretty into writing it and kind of write quickly.
How? Where does that come from? How can I be like that?
I don't know. I mean, are you interested in writing scripts?
I've tried. I think I'm awful at it. I don't know how. I think I'm just not confident in it, and I think when I'm writing, I'm like, this is stupid, and then I'm like, I'm done. I lose it. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
Is that really worth that big of a
Yeah,
wow?
well, I'm really like to think, but you're going in with an idea, and then as you're writing, you think it's dumb?
Yeah, I just don't think I know how to write dialogue, which is so stupid. I should know how.
Right.
I just have no confidence in my writing voice.
Wow. Okay.
Multiple
So
wow.
sorry.
I started, I don't know, in 2014. I started writing a journal every day in the hopes that would get me to write.
Yeah.
I still write a journal every day. It's literally the minutes of my day. And nothing exciting, like fictional about it. It's so funny. I do that every day though, like mad, because
That's really
I force
cool.
myself to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And do you like doing that?
I like to look back on it. It resolves a lot of arguments, I'll tell you that. Like, debating with my friends.
What was the date?
So I like looking back on it. I know you're supposed to enjoy the process. I do not enjoy the process of, especially if I've like forgotten to write all day and it's the end of the night and I have to catch up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's much easier if I do it as the day progresses.
I'm super like, I'll have an idea and go, oh, I really want to write about that. And then I'll think about it for a really long time. And then I'll think about all the scenes. And then I'll try to think about like the beginning, middle, and end. And this is all before I've written anything.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, oh, that's okay. I like that. And then I'll write out that outline. And then once I have the outline, I feel pretty ready to write, but I have it completely figured out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way to do it. That sounds
and then
perfect.
Then it surprises you when you're writing, because then you already know what you're following. And then you're like, oh, I can go on all these like tangents because I know where I'm headed.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think what you just described, though, is also my problem. Is every screenplay needs to just have shit thrown at the lead character, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't like conflict.
Yeah.
I go to therapy and talk about how much I don't like conflict. So why would I want to just sit there and write this poor schlub getting thrown conflict?
It is really weird when you have to do, like when I wrote on One Mississippi on Amazon.
Yeah.
And Tig obviously was the main character of that. It was so interesting because she's so reactionary. So everything in kind of happens to her, and her humor comes from her responding.
Right.
And when you have a lead character of a show, it's like they need a want. They need action. They need to be pursuing something. Yeah. And it was like, I remember sitting and talking to her, being like, what would your character want? And she's like, I don't know. Like, it's just like the craziest thing, because that's what's so tragic in life or great in life. But when someone wants something so badly, yeah, you're like, oh God, if this doesn't happen, it's going to be so sad. Yeah. And oh God, if it happens, they're going to be so happy. And so you're like rooting or invested in that. And then when people are less sort of, or more casual, or kind of like, whatever happens is fine, or they don't get in big fights, or they don't like do the thing for the conflict. It's just, it's like, why are we watching this? Yeah. But I also feel like, well, how come we can't watch those people? Like, it's a mystery to me. I mean, I think what you're describing is weirdly like Fleabag. Yeah. What, that she's Fleabag like, season 1, I watched like 3 episodes. I watched the whole thing and I did love it. But the first 3 episodes, I was like, what am I watching? Right. It's just her going into a store and then leaving the store. Like, that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, do you know of her want? Life. It's like, okay, do we like this character enough to just sort of watch them not want anything and not have anything bad go wrong? Maybe she's got a family problem, but that's... Right. It's just interesting. But then, like, like Succession, it's like, okay, these characters, like, really want this. But what we're talking about works, right? But if I write Fleabag...
Well, maybe I'm underestimating myself. If I write something not nearly as good as Fleabag, that's just a slice of life with no conflict. Who's gonna buy that? It's gonna be on me to make that. You know what I mean?
Build it up like a conflict's about to happen, and then every time it's like, oh, it all worked out. Oh, he skipped it.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. One of the greatest books about writing is Tom Lennon's book. They make it really simple, and they're just like, this is exactly what you need to do. It's like first 10 pages do this, next 20 pages do this, and it's just shit resolution.
It's like Save the Cat, right?
It's way more goofy than that.
What do you mean? It's more like
it's more like this is how simple it is. Now go spend all your money. You're gonna sell your screenplay because it's this simple. Just do this.
Yeah, see, I can't stand it.
Stand what?
When I read Save the Cat, I was
I hated that. You should read Tom Lennon's book.
Am I gonna be like
no? It literally the whole title's like how to make millions of dollars from your script, and this is how. And like one is about writing, one chapter is about writing, and then the next is like where you need to drive to sell your script and where the in and outs are in LA and stuff like that. Like it's
like a joke. It's funny.
Yes, but
it also has that.
Like pages 1 through 5 introduce your character. 10 through 20, what do they want? 20 through 30, throw shit at them. 30 through 50, throw more shit at them. All hope is lost and resolution.
Wow.
So it's really like pragmatic in in a silly way.
Okay. Well, I like Tom Lennon.
I think my problem too is like I think of clever hooks and then I don't have anything around that hook. Like here, I'm gonna pitch I'm gonna pitch some to you. All right, we'll workshop this. This would be perfect for you. So I was a mascot, right? Remember? Maybe you don't remember.
Yeah,
okay, whatever.
Right.
I was a mascot, and I love sports betting. So I want the opening scene to be a mascot in the suit watching a game. He bet against his team. His team wins, so his mascot's doing this where he's cheering, but inside the helmet, he's like just lost 20 grand and he's crying. You know what I mean? So it's like that dichotomy of him on the outside being a big, funny, happy mascot, and on the inside falling apart. That's the opening of the show, but then I got nothing. I've been thinking about that one for 4 years.
That is great. Like, Ben, why is that the opening?
Because that's just showing how much he's losing money and how bad it is. He's betting against his team as the mascot of his team. It's just showing that he's a mascot who's a sports bettor.
But couldn't that be like where he lands?
Sure.
Like you start where you're like, this guy is a really happy mascot.
Sure.
And it's like his whole like life.
Sure.
But
I was thinking more of a TV show. But if we did a movie, yes, we'd have to end. That would be.
I see. Oh, I see. Because it's a TV show.
Yeah. Maybe it should just be a fucking pilot.
Yeah, TV's hard. I'm like, I need an ending.
Dude, TV's really hard.
TV's hard.
Speaking of Succession, did you watch it all?
Yes.
This is off topic of the podcast.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
The ending?
Yes.
You really liked it?
Loved it. I thought it was like perfection.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought Shiv's twist at the end was unearned, and I literally paused it and talked to the people I was with. I was like, unless she gives some sort of subtle nod to Tom, which shows like she's still with him in spirit and heart and whatever, then I'll be okay with it. And they got in the car and she touched his hand. I was like, okay, perfect.
Wow.
Because I did feel like that turn, she was all in and wherever they were, the Caribbean, and they're like, we're going with you. And then to suddenly shift, I felt was unearned, but they gave me my nod I needed.
Yeah.
I thought the best scene of that entire last season was Tom and her fighting on the balcony.
That was God. And just a relationship where it's like you've said everything and you're still like in it and staying together, having a kid. I'm like, wow.
You think that would be hard to do?
I think
you and Tegan never aired it all out on a balcony over Manhattan.
I think those like just in life, those like really cutting, like personal attacks of just like verbal annihilation. I don't feel like people go that far where you go, you know what, I've actually said, even if like everything, I don't know if people really do that. I think they dance. They definitely don't. No. Like, yeah. And that's what I liked in that relationship, that I was like, oh, wow, they really don't give a shit.
Yeah. That was the first time something was actually said. and
Yeah.
not just like jockeying for position.
Right.
Which is funny because I fucking hate conflict, and yet that was my favorite. I mean, it was uncomfortable to watch, but
Fight
it was
scenes.
just such good acting. I think probably.
Like,
God
watch
damn
that
it!
again.
Wait, so okay, how much are you auditioning? Do you audition much anymore, or you just like don't even submit me?
No, like I've put myself on tape, but I feel like I've really committed to doing my movies, and because of that, just availability isn't there. But if something comes up where I feel like I could possibly do it, I definitely put myself on tape.
Do you have a writing agent and a TV or a acting agent?
Yeah. I mean, they're the same. It's all together, but yeah, different people. It's all at
same
Gersh.
company.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. So let me ask you this then, like casting your movie or whatever, casting One Mississippi. I don't know if you cast One Mississippi at all, but you probably watch some tapes.
Yeah.
What sticks out for you on the other side of that? Like, what are you looking for in an audition that actors can do, especially, like self-tapes are such a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for people like me on the other side of that camera that...
I mean, this is probably like, so I'm like, I bet no one else thinks this. So like, don't take this advice. But I feel like I love like 70s film and like when it was like so much focus on the actors. And I like even like Elia Kazan stuff. And I like Mike Nichols, where it's like, and people that came up from the actor studio where they really are doing the scene, where you're like, you think it's one way and then you see someone do it and you're like, oh my God, that is a character and you have a backstory and it is like full. And majority of tapes, and I'd put myself in this category when I tape, is like just really blank. It just, and I don't know if it's the nature of like self-taping or just taping in general, but like it's just hard to really give it that texture. And then the ones that do, you're like, oh, there's like a real actor.
Yeah.
And then there's so much, I think, placed on kind of getting the beats right or something. And then you kind of just lose a real person. So yeah.
Do you have a thought on how they find those beats?
I think it's like the people I've worked with that are where I'm like, wow, they're an incredible actor. I kind of am always shocked by the amount of preparation they're doing.
Oh, sure.
Where it's like, oh, you like worked on movement, you worked on journaling as the character, and you really like John Rothman, who plays Tig's father on One Mississippi, who's an incredible actor, been in a million plays, a million things. Like there was a scene where he's like kind of OCD, and there was a scene where he was loading the dishwasher, and so props was like setting up the dishwasher for the scene, and he came into the scene and was like, oh no like looking at the dishwasher, and he's like, all the plates have to be here, the spoons, the fork, like it has to resemble. And he was like, so he's like, so we're all like fixing the dishwasher so that it matches his character, how he would actually load it. And then I was talking to him about it later, and he was like talking about the night before preparing for that scene. And he even thought about the way the water turns in the dishwasher to where you would place the things for like the best clean.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
That's very cool.
But then when you see it, it's like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And you feel all of that. And then I think a lot of comedy people sort of just go off of like charm and
instinct or whatever.
Yeah. And like just sort of natural comedic timing and ability so they can be in the scene. And that works on so many shows. But I also feel like it's not that like actor thing.
Yeah. I took a class in February, Andy Grinley, and it was specifically for auditions. And their whole thing is basically what you just said. It's like, don't tell us, but come up with a backstory for your character.
Yeah.
Every little thing you can think of. Why are they being grilled in this scene? Oh, it's because they have a kid and they're thinking about their kid. They don't care about this. They're focused on their kid who's now missing, blah, 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 blah. She's probably 7. I had her when I was 15, blah, blah, blah. Like that
Yeah,
much detail
yeah.
of every little thing, and just give yourself a real solid backstory so that everything is through that focal
And
point.
then every line actually makes sense to you.
And you're thinking about
Yeah.
what, yeah.
And
That
there's
was their
some
whole
meaning
thing.
to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think I think this is also now self-taping makes it even harder because you're doing so much technical stuff and you're having to set up lighting and like your camera that takes so much time to then be like, okay, and now that I'm all set, I'm going to like really go into this. Whereas I feel like in casting offices and rooms, when you see people really take control of the audition, it's just so different.
Yeah.
And they move and they want things a certain way, and they have it, they know what they're doing in
Right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky for me too because like what you just said is really hard when you do I do a lot of co-star auditions, so it's that one line.
Right,
Here's your dinner.
I was like, I used to feel. I think I got terrible training as an actor because I started in commercials, and that like idea of less is more was like so grilled into me of like, oh, that's how you book this, is like you basically have to just kind of do nothing, and that's what works. And then once you then kind of start to do more narrative stuff, you're like, wait, I should be doing something.
But that you
now
can't.
I'm down to nothing.
But also you can't though, right? If I'm the waiter that here's your order,
Well,
I can't.
right, exactly.
It's a fucking nightmare.
And that's where I think people are all over the place in acting, because it's like when you're the guest star or co-star or whatever and you come in, you can't really do what you'd be in. Everyone would be like, oh God, what's this waiter doing? He's got a backstory.
Right, which is funny though too, because you said you write from a place of story. Your characters are, I don't know, I forget what you said, but then when I referenced the casting process, you're like, I want to see them bring out the character. Did you notice that?
Well, I mean, real character. I don't mean like I'm on SNL.
Right. No. Well, of course. Yeah. But you write for the story, but you want to see the character in the audition. I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I think I'm super character based in writing, in terms of like,
I swear to God, you said story like 30 minutes ago.
Well, story and character. I mean, I think I'm really in that like, I know exactly who all of my characters are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And what their perspective is. But that's feeding the story.
Yeah.
But never would I be in a casting office or casting session and go, I wonder what this mom character I wrote is like. Like it's so specific.
Do you write down character bios when you write, or do you?
No, I have it in my head.
Do you write the breakdowns?
No. And then I've seen like because I think casting offices do that, and when they write the breakdowns, I'm like, that's good.
Well, it turns out Breakdowns Express does it.
Oh,
Breakdowns
really?
Express writes a lot of them.
Yeah, like
I didn't know that.
But I feel like that's even like an audition thing, because the breakdown is so what you're going off of.
I know. That's why I was curious if you provide that.
The writer director didn't even write them.
I know. So that's why I was asking if you did it. I was seeing if you changed the mold.
No, but I guess if something was like way off, I'd be like, well, it's not. But I do think those breakdowns can kind of fuck with what you're doing, because it's like
there's not much.
Yeah.
But to that end, how often do you have this visual? You worked on a script, I don't know, for 3 months, let's say. You got this character in your head. It's whatever. You got it in your head. And then somebody comes in and it subverts everything you expected. But I look at this wall because that's where I do my self-tapes. That's why I was looking at the wall. Not because I'm afraid of making eye contact. I was focused in on my audition. How often does it subvert what you were thinking? And you're like, wait, that's it. It's completely opposite of what I was picturing in my head, but that's going to work. That's it. Does that ever happen? Or have you already made up your mind before every time? Yeah,
I would say it like happens here and there, and probably for smaller roles.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. I liked that. But then the main ones, I feel like it's harder.
Yeah.
But I'm more like blown away by actors. I'm more like, whoa, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Like I've just had that so many times. I had that with Dakota Johnson on our last movie, where I was just like, oh my God, just seeing her like do these scenes over and over again where you like really see the talent.
Yeah. She gives me your vibe, weirdly.
Maybe that's why
Maybe that's why you liked her.
Like
You're like, this lady speaks my language. Like she's subtle, but she has fun.
Yeah, she's really funny.
Yeah.
But she's like, but I mean, I am not like that. Like she can like really go there and do the scene.
So the reason I asked this though was because like we think or we want to think that we can convince them that I'm the one. You know what I mean? And I'm just curious how often it seems like maybe not that much it happens, but a lot of, I don't know if maybe I'm just listening to the wrong stuff or seeing the wrong stuff, but the idea of like winning the audition, like taking it, you know? Yeah. And it might not be the best wording, but
it's sort of like you have to do it for yourself and then hope that that's in alignment. But because I think I always liked auditioning a lot because I was like, oh, I get to do my version of this. I get to act for a second.
Yeah.
And that was kind of enough. It's sort of how I feel about doing improv. I'm like, that's fun.
Yeah.
And that's being released from the outcome.
Right. Well, you have to be released from the outcome to have any fun.
I think, but again, it's like when you really want something, when people really want something, it's like, I think sometimes that can like hinder, not that you like the desperation is okay, but if you feel it from the performance, it's like you're not in it, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the best thing an actor can ever do is completely shift their mindset that their job is the audition.
Yeah.
And like enjoy the audition.
Right.
Because
exactly.
That literally is the job.
Yeah.
Like that's the hardest part about it. So.
Yeah. And yeah.
If you celebrate an audition as a win, that's just better for your mindset and you'll put out a better thing. And that really is a win. When these casting associates are getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 submissions, bringing in 60 people, I mean, that's huge.
It's just, it's like how anybody ever gets anything. Just like so many people.
I know. This is a true story. I had an audition like 2 months ago, right, for an HBO show. I've yet to book a TV thing. I book I'm on like the 1 to 3 commercials a year train for 10 years. And I've yet to book TV. And I got a co-star audition that was homeless person. There was 5 roles, 1 line each, 5 roles. I was like, oh, 5 roles? I'm definitely going to get this. Didn't get it. I was like, they'll give 1 to a black guy. They'll give 1 guy a Hispanic.
Like, I got to be in there.
1's a Nepo baby. I got to be in there, right? Didn't get it. I was like, fucking
That's, yeah. But that's
I had like this grody beard.
All like they're go. I feel like that's also what I learned doing commercials for so long is like you think you did a good job and then you get a callback and then you go to the callback and it's like a redhead, a blonde, and a brunette and you're all sitting there like, oh, so they're picking hair color. Like I made it for the brunettes. Like you made it for the like. I'm not competing against you.
No,
like you're picking the group. I was in so many commercials.
Yeah, you used to crush it. I remember.
Well, I just get in a car and close the door.
Yeah, but that's you get a vibe.
Put a envelope in a mailbox, like all that, which is like doing nothing.
I think your hair is your superpower.
It's all just blank slate.
And it used to be curly, or
it's still curly. Okay. If I let it air dry.
Yeah, I think that's your superpower. What do you do to like recharge, get away from? It sounds like maybe it's improv, but like I like the idea of like having something in your control. But maybe it's writing too. But like, what do you do to get away from this business that's out of your control into something that's more into your control? Like, what hobbies or what things do you do to like recover or relax?
I mean, I think I'm really actually introverted, so I like doing things alone.
You literally change your posture to a closed-off stance.
Pretty much everything.
During that, you're like, I'm an introvert.
I hate people in social situations.
Okay, so you're an introvert.
Will you believe me if I say I'm introverted, or do I need to? See, I can act. I think naturally introvert. Like I like reading. I like watching things. I like movies. I like that. That's my favorite thing to do.
Just stepping away from your home office somewhere in your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also, I'm not like, I wouldn't say that like entertainment or the business of acting or entertainment or whatever is stressful. I like all of it.
Who hurt you?
Like, I know that there's terrible people in it, and I've certainly had like awful situations where I'm like annoyed at something, but overall, I love film.
Has that come from just your time being here, just like learning that, or did you always have that?
Always. Like, even as a kid wanting to be an actor, it was like movies were my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And to like, I would just watch actors on like talk shows and read everything like before the internet, where I was just like, I think these might be my people. Like,
Yeah.
I think I might like this. It felt like, I think they're out there. And then coming to Los Angeles when I was 18, I felt that immediately. I was like, oh my God, everybody watches all these movies. Everybody reads all these books. Everybody knows all this. Like, I was so alone in that as a kid. And then I still feel that way. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe how much everybody has in common that comes here.
Well, have you had any dark moments where that was challenged at all? Like where money was tight or anything like that?
Yeah.
It's easy when things are good. And no offense, you're doing very well for yourself right now. So I could totally understand it at this point in your life. But was there any moment where it was like you drove 3 hours to a callback and got a parking ticket and it came back and you didn't know how you're going to make rent that month? Were you still feeling that way?
I think like that's what I mean. Like, those highs and lows are certainly there, but I wouldn't take it out on the business
That's great.
of it. You know, it's like, okay, like I'm not doing well, or other people around me are doing better than me, or I need to come up with some new, this isn't working. Like, all of that stuff that I would do myself to like work on things, but it never, I just love creative people so much.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine just being like, oh, I'll be fine in this other career.
Yeah.
Where I anytime I've gone anywhere near that, I'm like miserable.
Yeah. So can you give advice on how to treat it like that? I think this is a very healthy perspective you have. And I think a lot of people come out here and they do tie their happiness to their day-to-day success rather than taking a step back and realizing I came here for the broader.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for?
Well, I think it's also real. Like, what I like is like you look at somebody like a struggling actor, and then let's say maybe like
a Will Hines, for example.
Like a Will Hines. And like then take the most successful actor, whoever that may be.
Dakota Johnson.
Like, the only difference you're talking about is like money.
I'm excited for this comparison.
But it's all money. Like, it's like, oh, somebody works more often and they have money. And what I like about it is like, you guys are the same type of person. You do the same job. You have the same interests. Like, it's the creative space. So that discrepancy in like fame or wealth, like if you don't care about that, then you get to enjoy all the things you enjoy. Yeah. And that you just feel better.
But I do think though that to do that though, you have to not just wait around for these auditions. You have to create a podcast, an improv show, sit down and write or whatever. Yeah. You really have to focus on the things you can control, I guess.
Yeah. And do it. Like, I think that's like, if you sit around and you're like, I'm an actor, I want to act, like, then it's like, find a group, find a thing, because you're going to just feel like, oh, I have to get a job to do the thing. And that's just, who knows?
It sucks all the fun out of it.
Yeah. And you're actually not doing it. And the like amount of people who are writers or want to be writers, and then they don't have a script. And it's like, you can write. Like, how do you want to be a writer without a script?
Even I have a script, and I suck at writing. It doesn't pass the Bechdel test.
But it's not the mascot one.
No, it's not. You're in the WGA, yeah? Yeah. What's your thoughts on the strike?
I hope there's an answer. I think that feels pretty. I think AI is sticking around, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of it.
I support you guys.
It feels hard.
I support you guys.
Thanks.
Your movie's not affected by it?
No.
Okay. Because you wrote it and it's probably
already done, and it's independent. So I feel like independent film is not really with the streamers.
Well, I hope you guys get what you want sooner rather than later, but I hope you guys get what you want.
Thanks.
Last question. Has anyone ever taken a chance on you that really helped you out or was meaningful to you?
I took that as like in a relationship. I'm like,
wow.
like taking a chance. See how you go. I see how it goes.
I've had a couple hinge chances, a couple bumble chances, and I blew them all.
Okay, so wait, somebody that's taken a chance on me.
Yeah, I think a lot of this industry is you need somebody to send the elevator back down or give you an opportunity or something like that. So has anyone taken a chance on you that really stuck with you and you remember it because it was a big stepping stone or a big moment?
God, I wish I had an answer right away.
You don't need to have an answer right away. I didn't prepare you at all for this. I mean, it could be an agent that signed you early. It could be somebody that put you in their show when you didn't have it. It could be Matt Besser for giving you a show at UCB.
I mean, I kind of feel like every single person that's given me anything is like, I'm like so grateful to, for real. Like, I'm like, wow, thank you. And then it simultaneously, I feel like I've like crawled to every like corner of and explored something and had like failures where I'm like, oh, I guess that was way off. You know, like I feel like I've like learned on my feet quite a bit. So I don't know. I didn't really feel like there was like somebody that's like, hey, you know what? I noticed something in you. I'm like, can you please read this? Like it feels like the opposite.
I thought this was a beautiful question until I asked you.
Well, I don't know if I shouldn't even say this.
Oh, say it now. We gotta say it. What do we got?
I think I'm like in that. I think there's people you like want to give something to, and you want to give them an opportunity, and you root for them, and you're like, and I feel that way about certain people where I'm like, God, they're so fucking great.
Yeah.
They gotta have this thing, and wait till you see how amazing they are. I don't think I'm that person. I think similar to you saying I wore boots and was cool, I think people are like, she's fine. I don't think somebody.
You're saying like, you're not going to take a chance on people, or people didn't take a chance on you?
I don't think I'm in the group of somebody taking a chance on me.
Really?
I think people feel like I'm fine. Is like, and then I think there's other people where, and I am fine.
You had such a healthy outlook on everything until this moment, I feel like.
But of course I want things from people and I want opportunities.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I think that's healthy.
Sure. I'll say this, back to how we started this. You took a chance on me by doing my podcast all those years ago, and I'm appreciative to everyone that's come and done this podcast,
because nice.
Most people didn't know me. I mean, a handful did, but most people didn't know me.
But see,
before
I
they did
don't feel like I'm like that. Is that me taking a chance on you? I'm like, he's cool. Like what? Yeah, I don't think this question is in my vocabulary. It's like,
yeah, but wait, you didn't know me. How did you think I was? You didn't know me. I was just some sketchy guy that reached out to you.
People about acting, like.
Yeah, but to a lot of people, I'm just some sketch guy that's asking you to come to my apartment and talk to me for an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, this has
that
been the last. Give me a better question to end on then, because we got to end on something more aspirational than that.
Yeah, I'm like, is this like? I don't know.
Or maybe not. Maybe we just ended on a slice of life. Not everything has a happy ending.
Sitting and talking.
I can't do it. I'm too big of a character. Whoa.
I really am now. I'm just like thinking about like actors. It's just like, God, it's like can feel brutal.
I did this to Will Hines too. I didn't tell Will this, but I think he left very sad. He like didn't even look at me as he left. He's like, "See you later, Mike."
Like, do you feel like there's more talent than jobs?
Yeah.
And everybody's just sort of like, because sometimes I'm like, you can't stop talent. Like you can get in there.
I will tell you this. Yes, I think there is more talent than jobs. And I think a lot of jobs go to people that, I know this is such a poor take, but the nepotism, when you watch any show, at least one of the leads has some sort of nepotism. And I'm just like, oh, this hurts me. It really does hurt me. Because it's such a frustrating thing to see. Mm-hmm. I realize that's just part of the world we live in, but LeBron's kid's not making the NBA if he's not good. You know what I mean? Hollywood.
Oh, I see. You don't think they're good. See, I always
some
feel
of them
like
I think are fantastic, but I don't think you have to be.
You definitely get like a foot in the door,
Yeah,
but I think
which
you
is the hardest
kind of
part.
have to deliver.
This is why I asked the question about who's taking a chance on you, right? You don't have to deliver, but it helps.
Yeah. I just, it's hard for me to go down that road a little bit. I think I just.
You don't have to. That was my personal take.
No, only because I think it's like, of course they had an opportunity that was like, that's very hard to get. But I also just feel like there are so many of those kids that don't do well. And like.
Sure. There's always another coin to the other side. But from where I'm at, I've been here 10 years and I'm finally getting like one TV audition a month.
Right.
Like, and so it's.
Are you familiar? I know I have to end. Are
I'm
you
jaded.
familiar with Sam Christensen? Because that's a class I'd be curious
No.
to take. It's
an acting class?
It's an acting class, but it's all about your myth. And what they do is, because my sister took it, and what they
You have
do
a
is,
sister?
yeah. I mean, yes, she's not in acting, but she
Oh.
took this class years ago. And what you do is you get on stage, but the first day nobody's talked to you, nobody knows you. You sit on stage, and everybody just writes down the vibe they get from you, and then you just what you give off that you don't even know. And then throughout the course, it's like, tell us a story from your childhood that you always tell.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get like this person's like, story or what they cling to or what is like in their belief system.
Yeah.
And by the end, it's all about your essence. And you get like one sentence. And basically, that's what you're going to play and be, that's what you will easily be cast in.
Yeah.
And the more you know that about yourself, the better you are at like finding the right job, as opposed to being randomly, am I this? Am I that?
I'm going to take that class. I literally just told Gianna Butler in John Rosenfeld's class, before anyone starts, they do something similar. You sit in a chair and people throw out the vibe they're getting from you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't like it. And I was like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah.
I like fed off it because I talk about this in therapy. I feel like this is just a therapy session. Like the vibe I give to people that don't know me is very different than the actual vibe I think at times I give off. So I find it fascinating. I'm going to look into this class.
Yeah.
Let's take it together.
I would love to take. I'm always like, that's the one class I want to do.
It's
or
still
it'll
happening.
be like my sister's myth was like the princess that saves herself was like,
oh wow.
and then there was somebody else.
Ingenuine, but hero.
Right. Like you're like, nobody's going to save you.
Yeah.
And then also somebody else's was like just your average day pervert. So you're like, oh.
All right.
But
I bet that guy works, though. I bet that guy works.
Yeah.
Especially now. All right, you got to slate your name to end it. Hey, thank you, Stephanie. This was great.
Yeah. Thanks for
nice to
having
see
me.
you.
Oh, I slate my name again.
It's a tail slate.
Oh, Stephanie Allynne.
MTV and the Channel E. A thing for celebrity.
To come out and be really low energy.